My wife said she was just reconnecting with an old friend. 2 months later, she moved in with him and told our daughter I never loved them. Last night, my daughter called me her mom's greatest mistake. I've never posted anything like this before, and honestly, I don't even know why I am now. Maybe I just need someone to tell me I'm not insane. Or maybe I'm hoping that writing it out will make it sting less. Spoiler, it doesn't. Anyway, I'm Josh. I'm 36. I live in Pennsylvania, I work in HVAC, and until a few months ago I thought I had a solid little family. My wife Megan and I had been together since college. One of those met at a party, hooked up, and somehow never stopped talking situations. We got married young. Too young probably. Had a daughter, Lacey, when I was 26 and she was 25. Megan used to be a preschool teacher. She stopped working during the pandemic, and after that she never really went back. Said she was focusing on herself. Whatever. I worked a ton of overtime just trying to keep the bills straight. I never complained. I figured we were a team. But over the last year or so, she started acting off. I'd come home and find her on her phone, always flipping it over when I walked in. She kept talking about how she was discovering who she really is. Started saying things like, I lost myself in motherhood and I don't even know who I am with you anymore. I didn't get it. I mean, I wasn't perfect. But I never cheated. I never hit her. I cooked, cleaned, did drop-off and pick-up when she asked. I paid for her yoga retreats and her weird expensive candles and that weekend she spent in Sedona with her healing circle. I thought I was being supportive. Then 2 months ago she sat me down and said she was reconnecting with an old friend. A guy from college. Nothing inappropriate, she said. Just catching up. He's going through a divorce and I've been helping him process. Right? The next part gets worse. Let me grab some water and I'll start part 1. So anyway, yeah, just reconnecting. That was her phrase. I remember exactly how she said it. Her voice had that fake therapist calm she uses when she's about to do something awful and wants to make it sound like growth. I said, okay, who is he? She said you wouldn't know him. I asked if I could see their messages. She got offended. Classic. Josh, don't you trust me? Red flag, right? But I was still stupid enough to back down. I told myself I was just being insecure. Told myself I didn't want to be that guy who checks his wife's texts. I even apologized. A week later, I picked up her phone to order DoorDash while mine was dead. Screen lit up to a text from Jamie. It said, can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? I didn't blow up. I didn't throw the phone or scream. I just put it down, waited for her to come back from the shower and said, so, are we doing this now or later? She acted shocked. Like I'd ambushed her. Like I was the problem for snooping. I asked who Jamie was. She said he's a friend. I said he wants to sleep with you. And she had the nerve to say that's none of your business. I just sat there. Numb. Not even angry. Just hollow. She packed a bag and left that night to think. 3 days later, Lacey asked me why mommy moved in with her friend. I called Megan. Straight to voicemail. I texted. She left me on read. Then came the bombshell. Megan told Lacey that we were taking a break because I never prioritized them. That I was too cold and controlling. She told our 10-year-old that daddy shut her down emotionally for years and made her feel invisible. Lacey, my sweet, goofy kid who used to build pillow forts with me and beg me to do cartoon voices, started looking at me like I was the villain in some Lifetime movie. And I'll admit it, I begged Megan not to do that. I said, say whatever you want to me, but don't drag her into this. Don't turn her against me. She texted back one line. She deserves to know the truth. Which, coming from the woman who left her family for some guy she used to smoke weed with in dorm rooms. Hilarious. But it got worse. Megan filed for separation. Then full custody. Claimed she was concerned about Lacey's emotional safety. Said I was unstable. I've never even raised my voice at that kid. The closest I came was once telling her to brush her teeth with more toothpaste. She tried to ice me out completely. Wouldn't answer calls. Wouldn't respond unless it was legal. Even told mutual friends I needed help. One of those friends, bless her, told me Jamie has a history. He's been fired twice for inappropriate conduct. Both times nothing was proven, but there were HR complaints. He's older than Megan, divorced, and lost custody of his kids. She said Megan met up with him for drinks and crashed at his place the first night. When I confronted Megan with that, she said I'm allowed to move on. Okay, sure. But telling our daughter I never loved her? That I was emotionally abusive? That's not moving on. That's a smear campaign. The day Lacey told me she didn't want to come over anymore was the day I cracked. She looked at me and said, Mom said you only pretended to care about us. Felt like my ribs collapsed. I tried to keep it together. I asked her, do you really believe that? She shrugged. You're always mad. I said, I'm not mad. I'm sad. She said, same thing. That was 2 weeks ago. Last night, she called me from Megan's phone and said, Mom said you ruined her life. That's why she left. I sat there holding the phone like it was radioactive. I couldn't even speak. And Megan? She took the phone back and said, stop making this harder than it needs to be, Josh. Just let it go. Let it go. I raised that kid. Taught her how to ride a bike. I held her through nightmares. I was the one who stayed up with her when she had strep throat and Megan was too tired to get out of bed. Now I'm the monster? I didn't reply. I just hung up. And now? Now I'm sitting in my truck outside the old ice cream place we used to go to. The place where Lacey would always get the same flavor. Cherry vanilla with gummy bears, and tell me she wanted to work there someday so she could eat ice cream forever. She doesn't even talk to me anymore. I have no idea what's coming next. But yeah, that's the start. Let me know if I should keep going. There's more. A lot more. So yeah, I asked her straight up, like no sugarcoating at all. Is there something going on between you two? And immediately she just flipped into defense mode, right, like I'd accused her of murder or something. She said I was paranoid, that I was being controlling, insecure, same old manipulation tricks. And then she says this one line that still makes my blood boil. I thought you'd be happy I'm finally making friends again. Like I'm supposed to clap for the fact she's emotionally cheating on me right under my nose. I didn't even yell. I just stood there like trying to make sense of what the hell was happening in my own house. She grabbed her purse, stormed off to clear her head. And I was left sitting on the edge of our bed wondering if maybe I really was overreacting. I mean, that's what she always said, that I read into things too much, that I imagine problems where there aren't any. And the scary part is I started believing it. Until the phone incident. I know I shouldn't have done it. It's a line you're not supposed to cross, but man, when she started getting real cagey with her phone, turning it face down, locking it in the bathroom while she showered. Come on, what would you think? So one night when she passed out watching Netflix, I picked it up. Hands shaking, heart pounding. I didn't even know her passcode anymore, which, again, should have been a red flag, but muscle memory kicked in and boom, it unlocked. First thing I see is a heart emoji from someone saved as Aaron R. Like no nickname, no fake name, just plain bold-faced middle school level deception. I clicked the thread and bro, my stomach dropped so fast I thought I was gonna pass out. There were texts going back for months. And not just flirty haha messages. I'm talking full-blown sexting, photos, voice notes, crap that makes you feel like your spine's on fire. Her telling him how she dreams about him while she's in bed next to me. Him saying he wants to rescue her from this prison. I scrolled for hours just staring at this fantasy life they were building while I'm out here busting my ass to pay the mortgage. Next morning, I waited till Lacey went to school and I said one word, Aaron. She froze. Her eyes did that twitch thing like she was deciding which version of reality to go with. Then came the waterworks. Of course. How she felt trapped. How she felt like I didn't see her anymore. How Aaron made her feel alive again. I told her she had till the end of the day to get out. I didn't scream, didn't touch her, just said it as cold and calm as I could. And she left, took Lacey, said they were staying with her sister. Except her sister hadn't seen her in weeks. I called. I texted. I even went to the sister's house and she looked at me like I was crazy. That's when I really panicked. Like cold sweat, adrenaline panic. Started calling hospitals, friends. Even Aaron's number, which I'd found in the texts, went to voicemail. Then I saw a photo on social media, posted by one of Lacey's friends' moms. Pool day, Megan, Lacey, and Aaron. Big happy trio, like we never existed. I lost it. I packed all her stuff in trash bags and left them on the lawn. Changed the locks. Called a lawyer. I was done. But Megan wasn't. 2 days later, I was served with temporary custody papers. She claimed I was emotionally unstable. Said Lacey didn't feel safe with me. She had screenshots. Fake ones. Of me losing it. Texts I never sent. And Lacey? She backed her up. Not with anything specific. Just little phrases like, I don't like how Dad talks about Mom. He's always angry. The judge believed her. She got primary custody. I got supervised weekends. And the worst part, Lacey stopped talking to me. Like entirely. No, hey Dad. No texts. Nothing. I became a stranger overnight. I tried to talk to her. Asked her what was going on. She wouldn't even look me in the eye. Just said, Mom says you don't want me anyway. That one crushed me. Not because it was mean, but because I could see in her face she believed it. And the kicker? A few weeks later I get this letter in the mail. From Lacey. Or from Megan, I'll never know. Saying she needs space. That she loves me but doesn't trust me. That I made her childhood feel cold. I sat on the kitchen floor and cried like a child. Because this wasn't just about Megan cheating. This wasn't just a broken marriage. This was my daughter being taken away from me piece by piece. And the person doing it was someone who once promised me forever. There's still more. Some stuff happened recently that kind of cracked the whole thing open again. I'll write that out soon. Just need to breathe first. So yeah, it's been a few months since all that court crap, and the thing is I thought it had settled by now, like I thought time would cool things off or at least make Lacey want to talk again, but nope, it just got weirder. Like this one afternoon I'm coming home from work dead tired thinking maybe I'll just crash early, try not to check social media because that always messes with my head, and boom, there it is. A video someone tagged me in. It's Megan at some damn seminar or empowerment panel or something. I don't even know. She's holding a mic telling this crowd how she escaped an emotionally neglectful marriage and how she fought for her daughter's safety despite being gaslit by the system. And the audience claps like she's a war hero or something. And I'm just standing in my living room staring at my phone like, is this a joke? She's not just twisting the story now, she's turning it into content for clout and sympathy and maybe followers I don't even know. Couple days later, I'm at the grocery store and I see someone from our old neighborhood. They used to wave at me every Sunday. Now they just glance and look away like I'm radioactive, like I've got some label stuck on my forehead I never asked for. Then one night around 1 a.m. I get a call from an unknown number. I ignore it obviously, but then it calls again and again and again until I finally answer, thinking maybe something happened to Lacey. But no, it's Megan's sister. She's crying, says Megan's losing control. Says she's drinking more, saying weird things to Lacey like, men always abandon you? And, I'm the only one who won't leave you. And my heart just sinks because I know exactly what that means. It means she's not done yet. It means she's pulling Lacey even closer, trying to wrap her in guilt and fear and dependency, and I'm not there to stop it. Next day, I file for emergency mediation. Not custody, not yet, just a chance to get a neutral person to talk to Lacey and maybe unravel whatever's happening behind those closed doors. And yeah, they approved it surprisingly fast. The sessions in this small gray room with a therapist I'd never met, and Lacey sitting across from me, arms crossed, hoodie up, eyes cold. She doesn't say much at first, just one-word answers, but then the therapist says something like, "Tell your dad what you've been feeling, it's safe here," and Lacey just snaps. "You lied," she says. "You lied and left us, and now you're trying to look good, but you don't care, you never cared, not really." I wanted to scream, I wanted to grab the table and flip it, because how the hell did we get here? How did my little girl become this stranger who thinks I'm the villain in a story I didn't even write? But I didn't. I just nodded. And I said, "Okay, tell me more, I'm listening." She didn't expect that I could tell. She kind of froze, like she was waiting for me to argue or deny or deflect, but I didn't. And after a long silence, she said something I'll never forget. She said, "Mom says you only miss me because it makes you look bad, not because you love me." And I swear something inside me just shattered. Because that wasn't Lacey talking. That was Megan's voice coming out of her mouth. Anyway, the session ended and nothing was resolved, not really, but the therapist said she'd recommend more sessions and maybe individual time with Lacey, and I said yes to everything. I'd sell my car if it meant getting her back even just a little. Couple weeks later, I get a text from an unknown number again, no name, no emoji, just 5 words. "Do you still love me?" I don't even breathe, I just stare at it and type back, "Always." No reply after that, but I think maybe, just maybe, that was her. Not Megan. Her. Then like a week after that, I see something new. Lacey posts an old picture of us from her 6th birthday. We were laughing, we were covered in cake, and the caption just says, "Miss when things were simple." And that about broke me again. I didn't comment, I didn't DM her, I just took a screenshot and stared at it for hours. It's not over. Maybe she's remembering, maybe the fog is lifting even just a little. I started keeping a journal, not for court, not for therapy, just for me, just to track what hurts less each week, what smiles I remember, and what nightmares I stopped having. I found a letter she wrote me years ago. It was in her crayon handwriting, said, "Daddy, you are my hero." And yeah, I cried over a piece of paper because some part of her is still in there. So yeah, I'm still in this mess, still fighting, still waiting. But I'm not giving up. Not this time. And that's it for now. I guess I'll update again if anything shifts, just needed to get it all out here first. Thanks if you read this far. So yeah, I didn't think I'd be back this fast, like I figured the last post would be it for a while, but tonight something happened and it's got me all twisted up again. I'm literally pacing my apartment with my phone in one hand and this goddamn USB in the other, wondering if posting about it helps or just make me spiral more, but whatever, here we go. First off, thanks to everyone who reached out again. I didn't expect that much response, to be honest. I guess I still have this thing where I think no one's really listening unless they're mad or trying to correct me, so seeing that support hit kinda hard in a good way. Okay, so today's been a long one. Work was trash, had to cover for a guy who just disappeared mid-shift. Apparently he just left to think. And I'm like, bro, what even is that? Meanwhile, I'm drowning in customer crap and corporate emails, and by the time I get home, I'm dead inside, ready to eat ramen and binge something brainless just to forget I exist for a bit. So I walk up to my door, right, and there's this white envelope just sitting half-tucked under the edge like it's shy or something. No name, no address, no stamp, not even sealed properly, just there, and I swear my gut immediately went cold, like I hadn't even picked it up yet. And already my stomach's doing gymnastics. Anyway, I bring it in, still in my stupid work clothes, still holding my keys like some kind of shield, and I open it, and yeah, it's her. Her handwriting. I don't even have to read it, I know it because it's burned into my brain from years of school forms and birthday cards and those long late night "I'm worried about you" notes she used to slip under my door when I didn't say goodnight. But now it's 2 pages double-sided full of her saying things like, "I never meant to hurt you, and it wasn't black and white for me, like it was for you, and the pain you feel is real, but so is mine." And bro, I don't even know how to process that, because it's like she's trying to meet me halfway while standing on a cliff she pushed me off of. And then the worst part, and I still can't believe this line is real because it felt like someone punched me in the chest with it. She wrote, "You were always so loyal to him even when you didn't know why." Like, what the actual hell does that mean? Is she trying to say my loyalty was brainwashing? Fluke? Some flaw she failed to fix? Because that's how it reads, and I know I should just crumple the letter, toss it in the trash, and move on, but then I see the USB. Yeah. A little blue plastic drive taped to the bottom corner of the second page with no label, no note, no context, just there like a time bomb. And now I'm sitting here with it on the coffee table staring at it like it's gonna blink or grow fangs or whisper my name in a demon voice or something, because what the hell is on it? Photos? Recordings? Documents? Some creepy I'm sorry video she filmed crying in the dark? Or worse, what if it's something real? Something that matters? What if it changes how I see Dad? Or her? Or myself? And honestly, that's what's screwing with me the most right now, because part of me wants to plug it in just to know, and the other part is terrified that if I do I'll fall right back into her maze again, chasing answers that only ever end in guilt and confusion. So yeah, I'm stuck. I haven't touched it. Not yet. But it's sitting there like a dare. And my fingers keep twitching toward it. I'll post part 2 in a sec once I figure out whether I've got the nerve to actually open it or not. Alright, so I cracked. Not even 20 minutes after posting the first update, I was just sitting there staring at the USB like it was staring back at me, and I figured either I'd plug it in and deal or I'd toss it and regret it forever. So yeah, I grabbed my old laptop, the one I barely use, and I plugged it in like it was a damn horror movie scene, hand shaking, all dramatic like an idiot. It took a second to load, and then boom, there it was. Just one folder. Labeled, for him. And honestly, my stomach dropped so fast I thought I was gonna be sick, because that's what she used to say when I was little. When she'd do something special like bake cookies or buy a book or make dinner with just the stuff I liked, she'd look at me and smile and say, for him. Like I was this project she was constantly tailoring for presentation. Anyway, I clicked the folder and there were 5 files inside. 2 audio recordings, 3 video files. I played the audio first because somehow it felt less terrifying, and the first one was just her voice. Not even a message. Just her talking. Like she recorded herself rambling in her car or something, maybe didn't even mean to send it, maybe it was just something she made to hear herself think. She's talking about Dad. About how he was always calm, how he never matched her energy, and how that used to make her feel invisible, and then she laughs this dry, bitter laugh and says he always made me feel like I was the crazy one because he never got angry. And yeah, that one hit hard. Because I remember her saying the same thing to me when I was 12 right after she made me lie to the custody evaluator that Dad drank too much. She said, "You're just like him, you go silent and pretend that makes you better." And I remember not even knowing what to say back. The second audio recording is worse. It's her crying. But it's that performative crying, the kind where there's no sobbing or snot, just the soft whisper cry, like she's trying to make you lean in and feel sorry for her, and she keeps saying, "I didn't mean to choose sides, I didn't mean to use him, and I don't even know who him is in that context, because if she means me, then what the hell does use even mean there?" And then she says, "I never thought he'd love his dad more than me." And yeah, I just paused the file right there, because what the actual hell kind of thing is that to say about your own kid? Like love is a competition? Like I was supposed to measure it? I needed a break after that. I got up, walked around my apartment, literally just walked in circles with my fists clenched, trying not to scream, because it's like she's still trying to pull me into her orbit, like even her regrets are just about how she felt, not what she did. But then I sat down and watched the videos. And the first one was just some old home movie stuff like Christmas Morning or whatever from when I was maybe 10, and honestly it was nothing I hadn't seen before. But then at the very end she adds a caption like a black screen with text that says, "Do you remember how happy you were back then? Before the lies?" And that's when I realized the videos weren't for closure. They were for manipulation. She's trying to reframe everything. Make me think Dad poisoned me against her. Make me question what really happened. Make me doubt my own memory. Again. So yeah, I didn't watch the other 2. I deleted the files. Pulled the USB out and snapped it in half with my bare hands. Threw it in the trash. I sat there for a minute after that, breathing all weird like I'd just run a mile, and my hands were shaking, but then something weird happened. I smiled. Like a real one. Not some fake polite grin. But this deep, exhausted, honest smile, because for the first time ever I didn't fall for it. Not even a little. And now, I'm writing this. Because yeah, I might be messed up still. I might have therapy tomorrow where I'll cry again and probably feel dumb about it. But tonight, I won. And honestly, that feels pretty damn good. So it's been maybe 2 weeks since that last mess with the USB, and honestly I was feeling okay, like better than okay, even sleeping more, eating actual food again, hanging out with a few friends I hadn't seen in forever. One even said, "You seem lighter, dude." And that stuck with me, because yeah, for once I wasn't carrying her voice around in my head 24/7. But of course, she found a way back in. Not directly though. This time it was my aunt, her sister, who I haven't spoken to since the divorce, when she told me, "I hope you know your dad's a manipulator and your mom gave up everything for you, like cool, thanks for the unsolicited trauma dump, Aunt Carol." Anyway, she called me. Just out of nowhere, middle of a random Thursday afternoon, and I almost didn't answer, but I saw the name and some stupid part of me hoped it wasn't about her. Spoiler, it was. She opens with, "Don't hang up, please, just let me say one thing." And I should have hung up, but I didn't. I just stood there in my kitchen holding the phone like an idiot while she launched into this long speech about how my mom's not doing well and how she talks about you every day and how none of this was ever your fault, but she's just really hurting right now. And then she said, she's in therapy now too. Which yeah, okay, cool, I guess, but then she followed it with, "And I think she's finally ready to apologize." And that made me freeze. Because for a second it worked. For a split second I thought maybe this could all end, maybe we could just meet up and cry it out and say the things we needed to say, and maybe even hug. But then I remembered that letter. And that USB. And the years and years of manipulation and guilt and bedtime stories laced with poison, and I snapped back. I said, "Why now?" And Carol paused, and then she said the quiet part out loud. Well, her lawyer thinks it might help with the custody hearing. And just like that, whatever flicker of hope I had burned out. Because this wasn't about healing. This was about strategy. Again, just another performance. Just another way to use me. I told her no. I said, I'm not doing this again. I'm not being her shield or her pawn or her rehab project just so she can look good in court. And Aunt Carol just sighed like I disappointed her personally and said, you'll regret this one day. You know, family doesn't last forever. I laughed. Like out loud. Because the irony was too much. Yeah, I said, I know. She made sure of that. So yeah, after the call I blocked Aunt Carol too. Not even out of anger, just tired. Like my brain didn't even flinch, it just went autopilot, block, move on, breathe, that kind of thing. But then 2 days later, a letter shows up at my work. Not at my apartment. At my actual damn job. Like who even does that? Who digs up someone's employer address to bypass boundaries like that? The receptionist hands it to me all awkward like, hey, this came for you, kinda personal looking, and I just nodded like I wasn't about to lose my mind right there in the break room. I opened it in my car. And of course it was from her. Handwritten again, same loopy cursive, same fake warmth, but this time it was shorter. No begging, no nostalgia, just this one line at the end that said, I hope one day you'll be a parent and understand what it's like to be judged by your child. And I swear something in me just shut down. Like that was her final play. Not love, not regret, not even, I'm sorry. Just this manipulative guilt-trippy mic drop like she'd been saving it for years. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there gripping the letter and thinking, nah, I hope I never turn into you. I shredded it right there in my passenger seat, tossed the pieces into a coffee cup and drove straight to therapy without even calling ahead. My therapist just looked at me and said, you're shaking. What happened? I said, I think my mom sent me her last trap. And then I laughed. Because I realized I didn't feel sad anymore. I felt free. Not some big dramatic cinematic healing, just air. Like she didn't own space in my chest anymore. Like I finally took it back. That was 4 days ago. Nothing since. No calls. No emails. No new fake accounts. Just quiet. And I don't know if that's peace or just the eye of the storm. But either way, I'm holding the line. For once. On my terms. That's it for now, I guess. Might update again if something wild happens. But for now, this is where I'm at. Thanks to everyone who read this far. Really, it means more than I can say.